Just point. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the May 22nd, 2014 meeting of the Litchfield Mosquito Control District. I'm Chairman John Latcher. To my left is former Selectman and District Member Al Raccio. Vice Chairman Dave Tate is not here this evening. I'd also like to thank Anthony DeMambro for doing our cable tonight. And I'd also like to thank Donna Burrell for doing our meeting minutes. Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to members to please keep standing, please. I'd like to have a moment of silence for the police officer that was killed last week. Our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. Thank you very much.
Chairman, if I may.
Yes.
Thank you. The Mosquito Control District members, associates here this evening would also like to pass a sincere thank you to our men and women of the community that have served in the armed services to give us the right to sit here and discuss these matters in open public freedom and forum. Personally, I would like to thank the men and women of our armed services for their services rendered, services ongoing, and services still to be provided. A genuine thank you and job well done.
Thank you very much, Mr. Raccio. Next is members' roll call. District Member Al Raccio.
Present.
I'm here, and Vice Chairman Dave Tate is absent this evening. Let the record show that Mr. Tate is absent. Before public input, I would just like to say for the record that our meeting was posted here at Town Hall and at the Town Library. Public input, is there any members of the public wishing to speak this evening? Seeing and hearing none, just a few words about public input. You're welcome at any time to come down during our meeting, and if you're working late, we'll adjust our agenda so you can speak. Even if you get here late, we'll accommodate you. We want the public to tell us their feelings if they have any concerns. Also, you can look at the town website. We have some information there as well that might be able to help you. And if you're having a real problem, you can also contact our health officer, Kevin Lynch, at 424-4046. Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr.
Yep.
Chairman, I'd like to, before we close and move on to the agenda, I'd like to recommend consideration to move the closure of public input to in between items 17 and 18, thus leaving it open officially to entertain any.
Okay, no objections. Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome. Next is approval of the minutes of March 20th, 2014. Have all members read them? Are there any adjustments that anybody has?
I'd like a minute just to.
Okay.
Regarding the other business, a copy of the contract was submitted. And I
Okay.
believe that action is closed.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. and I believe I still, we can discuss that. I have no objection to continuing motion on the minutes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes of March 20th, 2014 as written.
Motion is seconded.
Second by Mr. Raccio. Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion passes 2-0-0. Next is chairman, vice chairman notification. I've notified the departments that I've been elected chairman, and Dave Tate is vice chairman, the health officer, municipal pest management services, et cetera, et cetera. Are there any? And also, I changed the lettering on the website that we had the emails. So that's all been done. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay. Next is the website. On the March 20th meeting minutes, if you look on where it says members update B, where it says website. You got it?
Yep.
Okay. Said Mr. Tate stated that he spent some time looking at the website and what is there. His thought was that there's a lot of information, a lot of it is jumbled, where people won't be interested in it. The average person would like to go to the website and find what they want quickly and get buried in. There are reports and minutes, and Mr. Raccio mentioned that maybe a good segue to take action to examine the structure of the MCD website and possibly present an alternate configuration that may elaborate on your thoughts. Mr. Raccio stated that the last time he was on the website, the data is scattered and inconsistent. Mr. Tate also mentioned that there was a lot of duplicate information as well. Mr. Tate mentioned that the other idea he had was to look at other towns. Mr. Latcher mentioned the town of Pelham's website was very good and Dave should check it out. Obviously, we're all in agreement that we need some work on the town website, on our webpage, actually. One thing that I wanted to add to the website was this, Al, the one that I gave you. It says hello residents. Wanted to add that at the top of the website without any objections from you. It says, hello residents, my name is John Latcher, chairman of the Litchfield Mosquito Control District. The Litchfield Mosquito Control District has served the town of Litchfield since 2006. Our goal is to help try and prevent mosquito-borne illnesses as well as tick disease by means of our contracted service provider, Municipal Pest Management Services, Inc. Please browse our website. If you have any questions or concerns, you may contact me at jlatcher@litchfieldnewhampshire.gov or the health officer Kevin Lynch at klynch@litchfieldnewhampshire.gov or 424-4046.
Mr. Chairman, this basically has reiterated our mission statement and original charter statements from 2006
Right.
as part of our establishing the district. I would recommend one minor change.
Okay.
While I have the utmost respect for municipal pest services, I would suggest that we do not identify the individual company, but consider language that would suggest we provide a highly qualified contracted service, thus leaving the statement generic and not showing partiality or unfair consideration to the other fine vendors of our community.
Okay.
That would be my only recommendation regarding.
Just my thoughts was that we're obviously under contract with them right now, so, if anything should change in the future, obviously we would change that particular thing, but.
I agree and understand with your logic. However, I believe it may it may present an issue regarding the rest of the vendors in the community. And
Okay.
it might, you might consider, sir, passing it by the Board of Selectmen for a general ruling, or to Jason for a general ruling. Otherwise, I think it's great that we continue to promote and educate the community as to our mission statement.
Okay, I'll just make a motion to table this until the next meeting. Is that okay with you? Or Dave can get some input on it, or do you want, what do you want to do? Or I can get to the Board
I'm
of
good
Selectmen.
either way. It's your decision to either press forward, sir,
Right,
or to seek the advice of the town
right.
regarding just the name.
Well, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I can, before the next meeting, I can go to the Board of Selectmen and see what their thoughts of it are.
Right, and I believe Mr. Tate would also agree, this is nothing more than supporting our mission statement.
Exactly.
And it makes good sense, other
Okay.
than the minor issue
Okay.
of whether you do it. So if you want to table it, fine,
Yeah,
sir. If you want a motion to proceed
Yeah.
with guidance,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to table it till the June 19th meeting. And then I can go over it with the Selectmen.
if that's a motion, sir, I
Yeah.
second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye,
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion passes 2-0-0
to table.
to table. Okay, also on the town website presently, we have an ordinance that has been on there for quite a while, a non-approved ordinance. And I'll read it for the record anyway. It says, mosquito control ordinance, will the Board of Selectmen adopt the following mosquito control ordinance? Owners or persons in control of any piece of property shall at all times maintain the outside premises free of any standing water in any barrel, tire, tub, swimming pool, cover, ornamental pool, or any other artificial water receptacle, or shall treat and maintain such receptacle in a manner as to prevent the breeding of mosquitoes. Violation of this ordinance may be punishable by a fine of not more than $100 per occurrence. I would like to make a motion to have this ordinance taken off off our webpage.
I'll second the motion for discussion, Chairman.
Discussion? Yeah, discussion.
Thank you. As you may recall, I believe it was 2007, after we had adopted our plan and submitted it to the state,
Right.
that this ordinance was crafted by this district
Mm-hmm.
and moved forward to the Board of Selectmen for consideration.
Right.
The ordinance by the Board of Selectmen was not moved forward. However, the ordinance was left on the
On the table, right.
table.
Right.
It was also in the early renditions of the website as public education.
Right.
I believe the presence of the ordinance today still serves a purpose that you may wish to consider, and that is a reminder to the community that if these issues, such as outside premises free of standing water in any barrels, tires, tubs, swimming pool covers, et cetera, are still issues that are the responsibility of the homeowner and not the town or the town's services. Furthermore, we uncovered several issues last summer, up to and including our own infrastructure, regarding standing water, artificial containers,
Right.
tires, which involved municipal properties as well as public properties.
Right.
So while the ordinance sounds negative in some context, it actually serves a purpose as to reminding the community that if they do not adhere or comply with these, Big Brother may impose something like this. And I'm against that.
Right.
I'm fundamentally against more regulation by government.
Yeah.
If you've considered those, sir, and you still wish to have the ordinance removed, I will vote in favor of our committee, as the chairman makes those recommendations, to the betterment of our view of our service.
Well, my thoughts was to take it off there and go with a different ordinance that has to do with uncovered pools, because I think that's a major problem. And I would like to have a new ordinance with that idea, but not to the extreme of $100 fine or anything like that. Just maybe after the second time or third time that they're notified by the health officer, that they get a written warning or whatever, something like that, to that effect, but without a dollar value per occurrence.
The occurrence part of it, Mr. Chairman, was standard operating
Procedure,
practices as we reviewed other ordinances similar in nature. I understand your objective, or your objectives. I would contend that if that's your concern, leaving this on public record would not interfere with crafting a new ordinance for the selectmen to consider. And you would then potentially serve both purposes. We would craft a new ordinance for consideration. There's nothing in this language or the fact that it's on the web to deter us from pursuing. In addition, the new language, as you think through that process, would actually show some of the deficiencies of why the Board of Selectmen may not have considered this initially.
Right.
So you get the benefit of having the comparison out there, and the work that the board is engaging in that takes that into consideration in the newly crafted ordinance.
Right.
So once again, sir, you have, as you look at these types of issues, you have a couple of different ways to optimize what's there. If you remove it, you're still not making anything detrimental to the crafting of the new ordinance.
Yeah, just one of my concerns was that it was a non-approved ordinance that's on there now. I just felt that we should have something on there that has been approved, but.
Well, and rightfully so.
Right.
If we were to continue to engage in crafting a new ordinance,
Right.
it would be posted up there. You could then reevaluate taking down or putting up. Either way, I think, I don't think it's gonna make a lot of impact to your objective, to your objective.
Another thing was on that topic is that if somebody does read it, it's obviously they know that it's not approved, so it doesn't have any effect on them at all.
Right,
I mean,
but
it won't have any effect.
that would have meant they had to read it.
Right.
And the takeaway from that is, geez, I gotta watch out for tires. I gotta maintain that dead pool that I haven't removed yet.
Right, but like
At least get the water off the cover.
Yeah, right, but like I said, if they see that it's non-approved, then they can say, well, this basically doesn't mean anything to me, I mean, there's no consequences for it.
There's no consequences, but there is subliminal impression of what your duties are. And if you choose to ignore those, that's the decision that you've made. And I gotta believe, sir, that having an ordinance that tells you have to do it, and reading an ordinance that hasn't been approved that tells you should do it, if you're not gonna do it, a visit by Kevin is not gonna deter you. But either way. Either way, your point is well made.
Right. Well, what does the board want to do with this then?
Do you
You
have a
want-
recommended position or a motion, sir, you'd like to move forward with?
I can rescind on the motion if you want. Until
I believe,
Dave
sir,
gets
you should.
back here,
No, sir,
you know?
once again, I respect having a full board.
Mhm.
Issues of this nature, I would not defer by one member, simply because it's an issue that, I believe would neither hurt the board nor help the board. I believe it's a detail of cleanup and housekeeping as chairman
Right.
you believe is important enough for us to address.
Mhm.
Let's address it and move on.
Okay.
So,
All right, with that, I'd just like to continue the motion that, I'd like to make a motion to remove the present ordinance on the town webpage.
I'll second the motion for discussion.
Discussion?
I'll reiterate what I just said. I believe it's a neutral win-lose situation. Considering that, I will second the motion in the affirmative and request the chairman to move the vote.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion passes 2-0.
Motion passes 2-0 to request the IT manager to remove.
Right, to remove the,
Understood. Thank you, sir.
thank you for the clarification. Appreciate that. Okay, next is the district yearly calendar. I know that you wanted maybe Dave to be in on this, but we'll go over it anyway.
Certainly.
Just go for my thoughts here. As you know, last year we had meetings on the following dates. We had on November 21st, 2013, December 19th, 2013, January 16th, 2014, February 20th, 2014, and March 20th, 2014. My thoughts were is I'd like to condense our yearly calendar to just the months of April, May, June, July, August, September, and October. And I would like to add any extra weeks if needed for our annual budget. Any discussion on that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have severe reservations regarding this particular issue. 2 points. First, I believe we should have a full board to consider this issue.
Mhm.
Secondarily, we've seen a continuing diminishing of the Mosquito Control District's assets and resources over the years to continue to provide a good service. While I agree with you, our meeting contents for November, December, January, February, and March are minimal. We have yet to explore, given our full assets again, how we would maximize the time available. Additionally, the November meeting typically wraps up 2 very important roles. First is our annual summaries from our contracted services,
Yeah, that's why I said extra
our
weeks.
reports to the town. Additional work in December and January has to do with the town report and preparations for the deliberative sessions. And once again, our assets are diminished by no resources, no compute resources to deal with that. And our February and March meetings typically deal with any redirection we may wish to provide to our contracted services regarding upcoming events, as well as there's no guarantee that our contracted service provider will be the same, given we may have to go to competitive bid, or there may not be an approved budget. So on the surface, it sounds like there's opportunity. The opportunity is driven by deficiencies in the board's abilities to function in total. Also, we have a lot of unknowns that we need to consider. Those are my opinions. I
Right.
would hope that as we move forward on this, number one, that we consider tabling this until Dave is available and the full board discusses it. And two, you have an opportunity to consider some of the comments this evening.
Well, that's why I put down as well that if we need any additional weeks, if needed, we could do that, like when they do their presentation and all that, the annual budget. My feeling is that I think those 5 months in particular, November, December, January, February, and March, are really the slow time for this district. Obviously, April through October is much busier. That's the prime of our calendar. And I just think the other 5 months are really, not a waste of time, but there's very little work done on those meetings, if you look at the minutes.
I will not dispute that, I understand that, but I also understand the net cost to the town is negligible when we talk about burden on the tax base. Right now, the district has a budget that is consumed solely by the contracted service and no added burden. The secretarial services are now covered under the Board of Selectmen's general budgets. So there, at best, it would be 3 or 4 hours times 5 would be a 20-hour net savings in secretarial services, which then would be offset at the budget level because we won't be able to budget for it on an unknown. We won't be able to justify it. So again, when we look at what are we really accomplishing with this, I believe the net sum is a depletion in district services to the community. And when you look at a 5-month out of 12 reduction in annual monthly meetings, this to me represents, we may as well start talking about putting the burden of the entire service on Mr. Lynch, which would be maintaining a contract, and the Mosquito Control District, in effect, would be, we would move to abolish the district. And I see that as a trend, John, over the years, is what we're leading to as we continue to erode the services of the district. That's my opinion,
Yeah,
sir.
that's your-
Right?
Yeah.
Once again, I will follow the direction of the board. When this comes to vote in a full board, if the consensus is to do this, so be it. We adopt it and move forward.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to table the district calendar to our next meeting on June 19th.
I'll second the motion.
Second by Mr. Raccio. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 2-0-0.
Table to
June 19th.
June.
Yep.
19th. Wow. Already. That's amazing. The year has cooked.
All right. Okay, next on the agenda is district plan. You have the one that says mosquito plan on it, Al?
Yep.
Okay. This is my email to Mr. Lynch, Health Officer. I just wanted to let you know that I've been elected chairman of the Litchfield Mosquito Control District. Dave Tate is vice chairman. I was wondering in the next several weeks you could review our plan for the district and give us any additions or updates you could offer. After that, I'd like to set up a date to have a work session to put into the plan any of your suggestions and the board suggestions. Please contact me with your thoughts. Kevin talked to me and he told me that he has a few ideas, but he said that he'll get back to us in the next
All right,
several weeks.
I would prefer, Mr. Chairman, that any responses regarding this
They'll be
are
forwarded to-
documented
Yeah, they'll be
by
forwarded.
Kevin.
Yeah.
And as we put them on the agenda, we have time to evaluate prior to the meeting his considerations.
Right.
I think Kevin has a lot of good insight
Yeah.
regarding the town
Mhm.
and could offer up some significant suggestions that could be optimized into the plan.
Right.
Additionally, I would suggest that you contact both Chief not Iverson, wow, that's dating us, Chief O'Brien
Right.
and Chief Fritsch regarding their inputs as they both weigh significantly in the actions and consequences of the town, and also need to be informed of any imminent danger or imminent issues regarding the town, and would request that they be part of the working session as well.
Okay.
Also, I believe, Jay is now our emergency manager representative, isn't he?
Who?
I believe so.
Jason?
Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's our emergency manager, right?
Right. I believe so.
He would have inputs as well, since the plan addresses the emergency management system.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the linkage to both chiefs come in. So it would be an excellent idea to have our working session include Kevin, both chiefs,
Okay.
and the emergency management.
So what I'll do is I'll try to get in contact with each of those gentlemen and get back to you with the answer.
Yeah, no, that's great.
the June 19th meeting.
Awesome.
Okay. And then maybe on the 19th, we can schedule a meeting maybe for July or August or whatever. Okay. Next on the agenda is Litchfield Mosquito Control Summary. This is just a summary for Municipal Pest Management Services. The work they're doing for April and the work they're doing for May. The larviciding and such is beginning on May 15th, or has begun on May 15th. I also contacted Municipal Pest Management Services, and I reminded them about the catch basins. Elsa?
Yes.
Reminded them about the catch basins, the cleaning of the catch basins, and to coordinate that with Mr. Pinciaro.
Yep.
They said that they would do that.
Yeah.
I just like to update, I just like to
Right.
let them know every year about that, just in
And
case.
Jack is good
Yes, yes, because we obviously don't want them
cleaning after
treating and cleaning.
Not like that hasn't happened before, huh?
Right. Right.
Kind of defeats the purpose a little bit.
Next on the agenda is the recreation schedule. I have part of the schedule, but I'll get with the full schedule by the June 19th meeting. That's okay with you?
Perfect.
Okay.
On the rec committee, when you get their schedule, we need to include the new soccer fields.
Right. Yeah.
I was down there and took a look at the area.
Mhm.
One of the recommendations we had put forward was when they were building the fields, to put a 2-foot bark mulch from the trimmings that they cleared. I did not see that.
For the
That
ticks, right?
represents that would have been a cheap and easy fix to help prevent ticks and the spread of
Yeah,
Lyme disease.
Yeah.
Also, I noticed some of the swales already are not draining. And good Lord, that's just an invitation to,
Who should we talk about that,
Well, that's the-
conservation or?
no, that's the rec committee. That's their
That
part.
too?
I also believe it will tie to Jack as a municipal property. While the rec committee schedules the park and takes care of the lawn maintenance and things of that sort, I believe because it's a municipal property, I would suggest Kevin as the building inspector,
Mm-hmm.
re-examine the swales and drainage, and I would suggest to the rec committee that they pay close attention if there's midweek storms and standing water in the swales. They may want to consider treatment of the swales with municipal, our current vendor.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So that caught my eye, and that's primarily because of the work you initiated last year, surveying the parks and
Right.
kids' facilities, John.
Mhm.
So all good work.
Next on the agenda is the S.C. Johnson inquiry. You have that, Al, with you? Wish we had a computer for you.
Well, not for me, John.
For all three of
We really got to stop that, right? I'm
Right, I know. I inquired about getting some samples from S.C. Johnson, and she came back and she was nice enough to email me. She said that they don't know much about our program or organization, but they're certainly happy to consider donation requests, obviously from federal registered nonprofit organizations or programs. And they have an application process as well. I just wanted to bring this to your attention, that there are maybe some avenues out there and something else. That we
Did
might
you
be able to
file? Did
pursue.
you tell them we're certainly a
Yeah,
nonprofit organization?
Right,
We're
right.
a government.
I did, well, I wanted to show it to you
Yeah,
first.
no,
and
that's
then
awesome.
And then I want you to contact her.
I don't have access to websites, John.
Yes, I know,
Or I'd be more than glad to
Right.
contact her,
right.
right?
I just wanted to show it to you, and then I just, I was
Yeah,
hoping
no,
Dave, I hoped Dave was here if we wanted to, obviously, if we want to pursue this, or,
I think anything we can do
okay,
that promotes products that endorse
Right.
our charter to serve and protect
right,
is an excellent thing to do.
okay. I just wanted to get the
I
okay
just-
from somebody before I
Yeah,
went
no, I
forward with
think
it.
it's
Okay,
great. We talked about this at PepsiCo Day.
yeah,
We ran short, as you recall, on PepsiCo Day.
right.
What was it, 2 weeks ago, I think? I'm losing track. It's either last week or 2 weeks ago, there was a town cleanup activity.
Yes, yes,
So every time we can get an opportunity to provide services to the community.
okay,
Last year, we discussed supporting activities at the recreation,
right.
at Dara Pond,
Dara Pond, yeah.
or now the new soccer facilities.
Mhm.
Having
obviously-
products like this is
Yeah.
great.
Now, obviously, I don't know how much money we're talking, but any money is
Well,
a good-
given that we have no money allocated,
Right,
free products are always welcome.
yes, yes, they are, yes. I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Yeah.
Next on the agenda is the May 1st deadline for meetings. Got that from Chairman John Brunel, that all meetings, whatever they are, Conservation Commission, Planning Board,
Is that communication in this
I
package, John?
don't have that communication for you there, no.
All right, could I get a copy of
Yes,
that communication,
yes, I get
please?
you a copy, yeah.
Yeah.
May 1st was the deadline for all meetings, so all meetings, Conservation, Budget Committee, all those meetings have to be televised. as of May 1st.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. We've been saying that for years.
Right. But that was just an official notice, just so you know.
Great. Good work, Board of Selectmen.
Next is the National Mosquito Week. There is one, you know. This National Mosquito Awareness Week is June 22nd to the 28th, 2014. What I wanted to know was, do you have any ideas what we can do for that particular week? Any ideas?
Having 30 seconds to think about it, a lot of things pop into mind. I just don't know the practicality of
Right.
implementation.
One of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to put it out on the reader board out in front of Town Hall. Just to say that, you know, the
National Mosquito Week awareness.
Right, June, right.
Right.
Wanted to do that.
I thought last I knew, John, there was a process to submit.
Yeah, there's a form that you have to fill out, right?
Right.
Correct, yeah.
I have a form, yeah.
You have the form? Okay.
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think
All right.
that's certainly a good start.
That's okay, okay.
I think a 30-second or a 45-second spot for the cable. Nothing fancy, just an informal, in between the slide decks, a little short
Right.
infomercial to
Okay,
bring awareness. I think that's something we could put together on a Saturday afternoon or something at the either at the cable committee or even right here. I think that would be a good thing to do, not impacting. I think some flyers or leaflets to pass out at the rec center
Right.
at both parks. That's another cheap and effective communications.
seeing that you mentioned flyers and leaflets, I get this from the state. It's all free stuff. Actually, the state gives you free stuff if you ask for it, I guess. We have mosquito posters. I think Joan got these a while ago, a long
Yep.
time ago. We have stop mosquitoes and ticks. You also have protect yourself against West Nile virus and Eastern equine encephalitis. We've got some of these small ones here. I like these small ones.
I would think that dividing these up into 3 packets
And we also have,
and getting them to the library, getting them to the not conservation, but to the recreation committee, and getting them to the schools,
okay.
and get them out there.
Yeah, I asked
Get
for,
them out there. Put them on our table right here in the center of town
yeah, I asked for
while
like,
the season's going.
I asked for about 100 of each. She said she can give me more, but I just said I'd start out with that first, so.
Yeah, let's just divide them up into,
Okay,
what is there, 3 schools, the
Yeah.
rec committee,
Yeah.
and the library.
this one
So
here,
divide them into 5 and get them out there.
this one here might be good for Griffin maybe, because it's got the, take a look at it. see.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Huh?
clearly, yeah. Griffin, absolutely. I guess we'd have to, for the table out front
Right,
and for the rec committees, that's a straight no-brainer. Get
okay,
it to them,
okay.
and we just basically suggest, hey, guys, in
Yeah.
your events and public gatherings, put these out.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure how we do it. Do we submit it to the SAU and have them,
Probably, we gotta
right, to
contact them
consider
first, right.
distributing them to the,
Yeah.
the individual
Yeah.
schools?
I'll contact the superintendent. and see what
Right.
I can tell.
But
All right,
that's like Tuesday, right?
right, quick, right.
We just get it out there.
Before the school
Right.
before school's over, right,
I don't think we need to vote on that. That's consistent, sir, with our charter,
right.
right?
Yep.
Pretty awesome. Also, a letter to the HLN editor for editorial, we are a nonprofit. I believe the editorial sections would promote a wider distribution.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally did not have much luck, John, dealing with the editorials of the Telegraph or the Union Leader. But it's worth, if you're crafting a letter to the HLN,
Right.
it's the same language, just change the names to protect the innocent.
Gotcha.
So the work is done once
Okay.
to someone you think is gonna to get it done.
All right, I'll see if I can get them in within the next few weeks, hopefully.
Should be pretty straightforward.
Anything else on National Mosquito Week?
If I come up with anything, I'll
Okay.
give you a ring.
All right.
Or
Okay.
I'll leave it with Donna.
Don, okay.
Yep.
Next is on the agenda is LCTV slides. Obviously, we made some slides. I don't know if we wanna try, putting some new ones out there, or there's a few that are good that we had before, previously, and,
Yeah, I think it would be a great idea if we had the assets to do it. I think last year, what we demonstrated was a very effective mechanism of education and promotion.
right,
I don't think that has diminished, other than there's no clear town asset available to do it on and do it with that meets our schedule. I won't belabor on that any further. I think slides, videos,
yeah,
and spots through the cable committee are one of the most effective utilities we have in a non-cost environment consideration.
okay. Next is any other business, got a few things.
Under any other business,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to bring up a few things, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Okay, I'll let you go first, go ahead.
First, there's a very high potential this year for increased Lyme disease as well as increased mosquito activity according to the CDC's forecasts. As recent as 3 weeks ago, Southern Massachusetts, their district already started aerial spraying. Let me say that again.
Yeah,
Fogging and aerial spraying
right,
already has started in Southern Massachusetts. Our district has been fortunate enough not to see significant EEE or West Nile virus positive readings until extremely late in the season, where the infestations regionally
yeah,
have peaked and blossomed to the extent of multiple cases being reported. I think this year, our ability to communicate, our ability to educate, our ability to engage during the season is going to be more pronounced than former years. I think additional requirements for barrier spraying, additional requirements for diligent execution throughout the schools and the parks for exactly what you brought up regarding the ordinances of artificial containment of water is going to be more burdened than last year.
right,
The fact that Lyme disease has already been announced by the CDC for heightened activities brings us even more and more to the point of getting these flyers and things distributed, engaging with the rec committee, engaging with the public. Our ability as a board, as we look at the scheduling, to make ourselves available again during the summer activities. Last year, I had proposed the board to consider attending major events with the rec committee. You have continued to follow that philosophy by engaging the rec committee and requesting their schedule of events.
Mhm.
I think we need to consider not only moving that as a board, but actually executing that. I think there may actually be incurred costs as we consider that. We're only 3 volunteers.
Right.
And if we're sacrificing our Saturdays, our Sundays, not to engage in the sports activity and not to support our kids that may or may not be there, there should be some kind of consideration, whether it be in materials, whether it be in cold water. But it doesn't come for free.
Right.
And people's time, while we do this, in all honesty, and I don't think there's a person in our community that doesn't recognize the value of volunteer time across all of our districts and committees, let alone ours alone. But to add burden to that is I believe we will be discussing some of those issues as we come up later in the season. And particularly, to my knowledge, you still work for a living, Dave still works for a
I just
living,
made it here
and
today.
I still work for a living. And we are not retired, we are not independently wealthy. and
We
can
wish we were,
subsidize.
right?
Well, I tell you, I've worked all my life to try and reach that goal, and I'm still not there.
Right.
Anyway, in any other business,
Yeah.
I think getting that laid flat and getting those on the agenda, Mr. Chairman, is going to help us, not hurt us.
Just some information I got from the Sentinel, I got it on the website, was that he talks a lot about Alan Eaton, an extension specialist of entomology of the University of New Hampshire. Talks about ticks. Ticks rely on snow cover to survive the winter and the spring rains that prevent them from drying out and dying. They overwinter in the leaf litter. That's where they hang out, on top of the soil, hidden in the leaves and under the snow. Adding thick layers of snow and ice insulates the ticks and prevents them from drying out, which is the biggest tick mortality factor. So this year was not a good year for them.
We've met all those prerequisites.
Exactly.
We had late snow and ice, and so far we've had a relatively wet spring. Once again, that's consistent with the CDC's early findings and forecasts for heavier concentrations of Lyme disease. We also have a healthy deer population. Putting all of those factors together still reinforces even more.
Well, they even talked about that last year, about the low moose population, because the ticks were killing the moose, you know.
Right.
So,
And again, 3-4 meetings back, if you look at the deer population here in town, coming out of a district meeting, I actually struck a deer right out here. There was the mother and 2 doe. I saw the mother and the first baby go across, thought I was good to go. And as I came up,
right?
the second one, and unfortunately I did clip her, but when I walked over, I was on the phone to the game officer to come dispatch, and the thing jumped up and bang was gone. And I'm like, whoa, wow, thank you.
Right.
I feel much better. But it reinforces the fact that we have all the ingredients in our urban community here to our detriment as well as our benefit. And these are one of the things we to keep our community as pristine as we do. These are the unfortunate side effects of it.
Exactly. Do you have any other business?
Well, yes, sir. One last
Yeah.
point of matter. I make a motion to close public input.
Okay.
As we discussed.
Second?
That's it. Motion to adjourn, sir.
Okay, I have some more other business.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were
No,
closing
I was gonna
out.
let you go first.
No, sir. Knock yourself
Just,
out.
we got an invoice that's been paid, I guess, through Jason, the town administrator. It's invoice 881. He left me a note, Jason did. I said, so you know, they copy me on the bill and I take care of submitting for payment. It's easier than forcing someone to come in and sign the bill. Since I have the contract, I know what to expect for routine bills, so.
That's consistent with providing them
Right.
the signed contract.
Exactly.
Yep. And that's also consistent, the past 2 years.
Mhm.
Uh,
Just so you know, that bill has
Yep.
been paid. And I have some other stuff on ticks. We were talking about it earlier. This is actually a tick submission form. It's from the New Hampshire Department of Agriculture, Markets and Foods. What they're trying to do, I guess, is trying to monitor the distribution of deer ticks. And there's a form that somebody can fill out if they're interested in doing that. Where was the tick attached to? Where was it found? Was it on your dog or cat? And get some information in this form to fill out. I don't know if we want to try to get it on our webpage or it's for somebody to download, or what do you think about that, Al? After you read
Is this, this
from
was
the-
already available
Yeah, it's from the,
Right.
yeah,
So-
Department of Health and Human Services. I mean, we could,
as part of the
Could
update.
refer
I would
them to it.
just,
Yeah, we
just
could we have
request
some
the
kind of-
IT manager to
yeah,
include the DHHS
yeah,
link.
yeah.
And then the individuals can,
They can download the form.
they can
if they
download
desire.
and choose to engage or not.
Okay,
It's also quite informative on what to look for.
right, this picture.
Which I think is great.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, identifying deer ticks from other species that are not prone to carrying Lyme disease
Mhm.
could actually benefit the community by understanding when they need to go see a doctor.
Right.
And my recommendation would be to take no chances. If you're pulling a tick off of you or a loved one, don't wait. Go get a real, honest to goodness assessment. Lyme disease, as everyone knows, typically does not manifest severe symptoms for years later.
Right.
Where the idea of a tick bite 6, 8, 10, 12 years ago, if the kid is 5 and now he's 30 and he's got all these symptoms, what's the odds of him remembering his mom or dad pulled a tick off of him?
Right.
Go get advice. It's only my understanding, and I'll qualify that, is that it's a shot of antibiotics to
Yeah,
some extent.
Yeah, they give you like a one-time,
Right.
yeah,
And that question's gone. Good
Right.
Lord.
right. Yeah.
But nonetheless,
Just for your
that's
information.
great, John. I think the link
Okay.
would do that.
Next, I wanted to talk about obviously I changed the time to this meeting to 7:30. It seems, well, it's a lot better for me to get here. That extra half hour makes a difference. So I can go home and throw a shirt on and get down here. But, what are your feelings? Do you want to wait until Dave gets back about changing our times to 7:30 from here on out, or what are your feelings about that?
Yes, scheduling, I think is something the full board. I will tell you, I'm typically in my office by 4 AM.
Right.
And that's consistent. And I'm typically out of my office by 4 PM. So a half hour doesn't sound bad, but that's what we're juggling.
Right.
And typically unlike some of the selectmen meetings that I used to attend, at 1 AM we were leaving.
Well, like me, I left my house at 5 and I get back at 6:30.
Right.
Really,
So,
if it was a 7 o'clock meeting, either way, I probably could have ran down here, but
right.
the extra.
That would be my input on it. I do believe we should wait for a full board though, John,
Okay.
just out of respect to
Okay,
Dave for
okay.
that type of,
Okay, I'd just like to, why don't we just table this again? Like to make a motion to table this till our next
well,
meeting?
was
You
it
wanna
an
do-
action item or you brought it up under other business? So, either way.
Either way.
Right, it should be discussed. with
Okay,
a
we'll
full
discuss it
board.
at our
Yeah.
next meeting on June 19th. Okay, next, I would like to see each member take on a specific area and kind of be like accountable for it, so to speak. What I mean is, I would like to have like Dave be responsible for updating our website, keeping fresh material on there, adding some pictures, videos, etc. I would like to take the reins of LCTV, putting on fresh slides, videos, contractor presentations, maybe from municipal pest management services as far as the proper way to take off ticks and stuff like that. Mosquito prevention from them. Al, I'd like you to be possibly our public speaker at school board meetings, selectmen meetings, conservation meetings, and applying for grants, which we discussed earlier.
Right.
And working with, maybe working with elected officials, representatives, trying to get the reimbursement for mosquito control back on topic again. I think that's kind of slid for a little while, and maybe if we can start bringing it up, maybe something might be done, maybe it won't, but there's a good shot that it might be. And I'd just like everybody to take a designated area and just feel free to go ahead and not do what you want, but, just kind of work with whoever you have to work with and kind of use a hands-off approach, so to speak. I mean, don't do anything extreme or anything like that, but I mean, if you have a certain question where you think it might not be practical, you could refer it to the board, we can go over it, but I like, maybe like a hands-off approach to each one of those items. I don't know, what are your feelings on that?
Well, I think, as the current chairman, and I think those are great thoughts in managing the board and the board's activities. I think they should be well documented with guidelines
Right.
and put on the agenda for board discussion and vote. I think it's an excellent way to, an approach to managing what you believe are the assets and issues that are germane to the board. I think it's great.
Yeah, like, I'd like, maybe you can go to this, to one of the school board meetings, introduce yourself, maybe remind them of the members that are on the board, even though maybe they forgot somebody or might have somebody new on the board or whatever. Discuss with them, about, like we talked about before, about the barrels being full of water and stuff, to keep an eye on that kind of stuff, and just a kind of, extension, I guess, of our board a little bit into the other areas, even in conservation, might be able to introduce yourself and, introduce yourself to the members.
I think your thought process are astute. I think that they're reasonable. I have some concerns about how we would
Right.
Monitor that activities
Mhm.
so that we don't inadvertently,
Right, I know what you're
cause
saying. Right.
an issue. Grant writing was part of the Board of Selectmen's direction that justified in the warrant articles and discussions regarding our current town administrator. Well,
Mhm.
I still don't, what is the proper title for Jason?
Town administrator.
Town administrator. That was part of the original Board of Selectmen's justifications to the citizens to justify a position of that nature, was grant writing, federal funding investigations.
Right.
That's not to say that individuals such as the fire chief, the police chief, the chairman of the district cannot make suggestions moving forward. But as a committee, we would not engage in the submission without proper selectmen oversight,
Right.
simply because there's a lot of binding requirements that outlast any one appointed member.
Right.
And we have plenty of examples in town of how that has significantly cost the taxpayers when the grants were granted, and then fines were awarded because we didn't follow through
Right.
with the proper paperwork of the grants. So it's things like that, John, that we need to hash through.
Well, as far as the grants and stuff, I'm willing to pursue that and everything, but obviously I'm gonna need your guidance as well. I'm gonna try to lean on you a little bit.
No matter who does it here,
Right.
if we do
But I
it,
mean,
we need those types of inputs and then the concurrence, because, well, first of all, the Board of Selectmen had stated that's part of the town administrator's responsibility.
right,
And that which we work for the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah.
Period. So it's just those types of considerations. All good ideas.
right.
I think put them on the agenda.
Mhm.
We'll, certainly, I will embrace that whole thought process. I think it's great.
Yeah, one other thing about that, Al, was, one other thing that I was thinking of is maybe, if you were willing to, maybe talk to our senior citizens and stuff about, ticks and mosquito control and all that, stuff too as well, as far as if we decide on to go with
Sure.
this,
Yeah, John?
our retirement community and,
Absolutely.
going to the
The
retirement. community.
retirement community is an established part of this community. As you know, one of our former chairmen and members resides in one of the communities.
Mhm.
And I think it's a good extension to embrace them. We have a good representative that's well-known. And I think it's, again, whether it's you, me, Dave, I think those are all excellent thought processes. Absolutely.
Okay. Next, for any other business, I wanted to give you this. And just read it, and then when you're done, let me know, and I'll just comment on it a little bit.
Okay, so I get the drift of what you're doing here. I don't know what it pertains to, though.
Okay.
What are you,
All
what are
right.
you proposing, John?
Okay. What I was thinking of is, obviously, our health officer gets a lot of calls. And some of the calls are about mosquito control or ticks or whatever. And from my point of view, is the board isn't aware of actually what questions are being discussed, and if the issue has been resolved or not resolved. And I would like to actually, if somebody calls in regards to mosquito control to the health officer, I would really like us to have privy to that information. Obviously, there's not gonna be a name attached to it, but I would like to know what the call was in regards to. So actually, we can make this board aware of that. So if there are any underlying issues that haven't been resolved, I don't want the person to think that nothing's getting resolved and we don't know about it. It's kind of a checks and balances kind of thing.
That view has merit. This approach adds work scope
Right.
to Kevin and his office
Right.
and associated staff.
Just a simple, it's a very brief form, it's not.
Right.
Right.
My concern would be just a couple of things, John. The question or concern would be documented.
Right.
You're asking for an official signature of the health officer here,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
You're asking for your signature
Right.
or the current chairman's
Right,
signature.
whoever it may be.
Right.
Right. Mhm.
And when I read, has the following question or concern been resolved? Who is to determine resolved? Since you don't have a point of contact back to the person who asked the question to begin with. So it's not for us to determine whether it's been resolved by Kevin or resolved by you or the board, or if the Board of Selectmen and MPM it engages. So I see a lot of technicalities here that work against the intent of what you want to do. You want to know what the concerns of the community are, great.
Right.
You're relying on us as the medium and another office, and yet we don't have direction to the other office. State the question. I would suggest we consider who contacted us. Anonymous is a good answer.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Mr.
Doesn't-
Smith of 13 Page Road is a good answer.
Yeah, that's a better
Right.
answer, but you know what I'm saying.
And then we can say, Kevin, I would say not health officer, origin of message. That could be Donna, right? Or the answering service, it could be me, John, Dave. Could be the cable committee got the call because they seen something. So it
Right.
opens it up a little bit.
Right.
And then as the chairman of the district, you're acknowledging you got this communication,
Right.
and now the burden is on us to follow up on, has the question or concern been resolved? That could be an action by us to go back to Kevin and say, did you contact or did you get any additional feedback?
Right.
This is our input to date today. Caller anonymous.
And obviously, we
Right.
could contact Municipal Pest for an expert answer to it. if we don't,
Well, if.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Coming from,
I would not suggest we burden the Board of Selectmen and certainly not our contractor on our day-to-day business, right?
yeah, but
That's just me. This is
the
conducting
thing
business.
is, like you said, we are working for them, so, you know
Well,
what I mean? So,
I understand that.
they're the
but
boss, so.
in the same token, if we inundate the Board of Selectmen with 40 or 50 of these questions or answers, it won't take long for the Board of Selectmen to come back and say, Mr. Chairman, we're interested in matters of severe importance that require us. Otherwise, send it to Jason or filter your activities so that you're not overwhelming us, right?
Yeah. Well-
That's just,
Well, the thing is when it goes to the Board of Selectmen, obviously, it will be resolved before it goes to them. That was my idea, to have
okay,
it resolved.
yes, sir. And if that's your idea,
That's my idea.
then we just need to clarify that
Clarify,
because
okay.
this basically says
That's what I figured.
all
was
these
gonna be anyway.
communications are immediately forwarded out to the Board of Selectmen and to Municipal Pass, the way it's,
Okay,
Right.
we'll straighten it.
otherwise, I think accountability of what we do
Right,
is a
because-
good thing.
Right, because
Right.
if we don't know what the particular
Right.
question is, it might be a question where
Exactly.
we might have to confer with municipal about it or
Well,
whatever.
that's
you know?
where,
And that's just
that's
something-
where you and I do that.
Not to say that-
you and
not
I.
to say that
That's where the
Kevin-
board does
Yeah, but
that.
not to say that Kevin is doing anything wrong, I'm not implying that. What I'm saying
I
is,
don't think he is either.
yeah, but what I'm saying
right?
is there is a board that should be aware of that call coming in. That's
Absolutely.
basically what what
Absolutely.
I'm
No,
trying to get.
and it's not really a question, like you say, of is or is not
So,
the Department of Health complying with their duties. They are. We're not informed of the amount of activity
right.
regarding this board.
See, the thing is, if somebody comes in from the public and says, "Oh, I called your health officer about this situation with mosquitoes, blah 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 blah," and all of us sitting here that we don't know anything about it.
No,
You know, I just-
good point, John.
You know,
It's an excellent
I just
point.
don't want to be caught off guard if that
Right.
does happen. You know.
And that does happen. I mean, every one of us has heard, hey, we've talked to Kevin,
Right.
or
It-
we used to talk to Roland,
Right.
right? Because no matter who it is, it's a good thing to get this communication going. It's a good
Yeah.
thing to document. It equally as important when we justify our budgets to our services and we have 100 or 200 questions and we go before the Board of Selectmen and we used to go before the Budget Committee, we would say, hey guys, this is the effects of what we're doing for the town.
Right.
What? We can't get $200 to do advertising, to be managed by the people who do the work?
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. Because from the Department of Health, from you, I, and the other members, all these questions and concerns? I think it's great, John.
I just try to keep
Yep.
it as simple as I could. You know, I don't want
Well,
to writing a full page.
There's
thing.
merit
It's just a
in
matter-
keeping it simple, and then there's merit in not overwhelming our
Right.
departments
Right.
and having it shot down before it ever gets
Yeah,
started.
that's why I wanted to keep it as
Yep.
simple as I possibly could, so, okay, we'll take a look at it again.
That's good. No,
on
that's great.
19.
I think.
Is there any adjustments, well, you want to just discuss it, make the adjustments at the next meeting, pretty much? Or,
I think you should, I think we should consider what you're gonna take forward to Jason and the Board of Selectmen, and more importantly, what you may take forward to Kevin.
Kevin, right?
and get Kevin's inputs
Okay,
and his team's inputs on the impacts.
okay.
And then we have,
Right,
I don't want to say buy-in, that's a term we use at BAE. You would normally cycle this stuff to the stakeholders, like Kevin and the office and
Do you want-
Jason and stuff. And then we would move forward, and when they go to look at it, yeah, hey,
what
we've
about as
discussed
far as the wording is concerned? Do you want them to just give me some examples of how they might
Well,
want
I'd
the
like to,
wording
well,
before the
yes,
meeting? And that way
I'll
you
be
can get-
glad to do that, but
Okay.
I want to take a few minutes and think it through.
Right,
This is the first I've seen of this,
right,
John.
right. Well, I'm just,
And yes, I'll take an action.
well, I'm just saying, like, if
Yeah, to get- to
if I
get
show
you
it to
some-
Kevin and Jason, if they wanna, if they feel that maybe, that they like the idea and something, and they wanna print out a draft, so to speak.
I would
before our
suggest
next
you,
meeting.
you do that now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, when we meet next month,
I'll
you'll
have it
have
all
my
ready.
inputs,
Right.
you'll have inputs from Kevin, you'll have inputs from Jason.
Right,
We can formulate, with all of those considerations, you'll have something that you're almost sure you have mitigated a lot of the, again, in our business, we call them naysayers, right? It's dead before it ever gets started because there's a fixed opinion.
right.
We'll get past all that, and we'll have a better opportunity to get something presented that's manageable.
Sure.
So I have, get, and I'm writing an action to myself, John, to get you inputs within the next 2 weeks, so you'll have 2 weeks to review that prior to.
Okay.
I'll leave the copy with Don at the office.
Okay, I think, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. If you don't have anything else.
Before I second the motion, I would like to just simply thank our men and women of the armed services for their service, their duties, and giving us the right to sit here and publicly speak our opinions. Thank you very much. And I second the motion, sir.
Okay. So moved. See everybody at our next meeting on June 19th. Have a very safe and Memorial Day weekend. Thank you very much. Have a good night.